Are you sleeping with my wife? Is never what you want to hear when you're expecting your new boo to call when she gets home. I mean, the answer was yes. Yes, I definitely was sleeping with her, but I didn't know she was married. Trash to Peace Theater, The Legend of the Bakery Booty. So back in the day, I had this rule to never holler at anyone at a show. It blurs the lines and it gets messy, but all rules are meant to be fuckboy broken. This one time I had a gig for a non-profit organization. Midway through the event, I locked eyes with this jawn in the front row who was hanging on every word. After a while, it just seemed like she and I were the only ones there. After my set was over, the cutie in the front row looked like she was expecting me to come over and talk to her, but nope, walked past her and pretended like we didn't just eye fuck each other for the last 20 minutes. I went outside and started talking to some of the organizers of the event. After a few minutes, the original plug walked over to me and said she wanted me to meet someone. She walked me over and introduced me to the woman I had just had mind sex with. The plug walked away so we could talk. She was hella cute and hella cool, and we hit it off, but I kept thinking about my rule. Don't shit where you eat. No peeing after the poems. We chopped it up for a bit, and then someone called her away. She told me to wait there and she'd be right back. And that's when I saw the cake. That ass. She had a sneaky booty, one of those asses you couldn't see from the front but had a bakery around back. Her booty was a gracious god. It was omnipresent. That joint walked here and there. She came back and I had to play it off like her ass didn't just send me into a basic stupor. We talked for a bit more. She told me she owned a salon in Northeast Philly and said she didn't like poetry until she heard mine, completely gassing me up. She said we should get together sometime, and I knew that was a morality check. I knew that was God testing me. Would I stick to my rule, or would I be enticed by those two glazed hams jammed in those jeans? So I did what any responsible, high-character young man would have done. I gave her my number and she called me the next day. Said she couldn't stop thinking about me. Said she wanted to get together and I was like, cool. We linked up downtown and walked around Penn's Landing. Side note, Penn's Landing is the waterfront in Philly where cheap niggas take basic joints when they don't want to spend money, or where people who are cheating go so no one sees them. Afterward, we hit up a pub, had a couple of drinks, and then we went our separate ways. She called me when she got home to let me know she got there safely. All in all, a pretty cool first date. The very next day, she hit me up and said she needed to see me again. So I was like, word. Said she was gonna come pick me up and she scooped me in this big ass Tahoe. She tossed me the keys and told me to drive. Told me to go to the Plat.
Back in Philly, we be out in the park. A place called the Plateau is where everybody goes.
We started making out like two teenagers. The bakery was definitely as soft as I had imagined. John felt like a cumulus cloud. We just hung out there for the night. And then she took me home. Even though I was harder than Superman's kneecaps, I didn't invite her in. She drove home and called me to let me know she got there safely. The very next day, she calls me from her salon saying she needs to see me ASAP. So she came through and scooped me from the crib again, and we went to the Chili's around the corner from my spot. We ate, flirted the whole time, and ended up back in the parking lot in her truck. I invited her back to my spot, but she said she couldn't wait. So we hopped in the back seat. Next thing I know, the bakery was spilling all over my lap, and we were testing the suspension on that Tahoe. When we started, we were in a full parking lot. By the time we were finished, the parking lot was empty. She dropped me off, kissed me goodnight, and said she'd call when she got in. I went in the crib and passed the fuck out from diabetic shock. A few hours passed and the phone rings and it was her number. I figured she just forgot to call when she got in and finally remembered. I answered the phone like, yo, you good? Yo, you fucking my wife? Wait, what? You heard me, bitch. Are you fucking my wife? So now I'm wide awake, and I don't pretend to be a tough guy, but I am a smart ass. And I'm from North Philly, so you're just not gonna talk to me any kind of way. So I was like, maybe, who's your wife? Homie went ballistic, started yelling and screaming at me. Then he hung up the phone. Called back 15 minutes later talking cash shit. He gonna shoot me, he gonna kill me, I'm a dead man, blah, blah, blah. He took the yawn as the disrespect it was and said, where you live, nigga? 2764 Cranston Road, red door, first floor, see you when you get here. The commotion woke up my 125-pound bull mastiff Max and my roommate Jerry. I tell him what's poppin', and 2 minutes later, he's at the front window, shotgun in hand, waiting for any strange car to pull up. Sun rises, no car, no husband. I figured he wasn't gonna show, but Jerry was pissed like he was hell-bent on shooting a nigga. Phone rings, her number, it's him, crying.
Are you crying? No.
you crying? Are you crying? There's no crying.
I put it on speaker. I can't believe she would do this to me. Jerry grabs the phone and calls homie a bitch ass nigga. Homie starts bawling. I spent $50K on our wedding. I bought her a salon. I bought her a Tahoe. Everything she ever wanted, I got for her. What you got that I don't? I was tempted to say, well, currently some trace DNA in the backseat of that Tahoe you bought her. But I chilled because I was starting to feel bad for Boy. It went from me being about to fight him to me giving him advice. Homie continued to cry and we continued talking. And by talking, I mean he just rambled incoherently through his tears. Now that you know she married, can you please stop seeing her? Yeah, I mean, if I knew she was married, I would have never talked to her in the first place.
Michelle, if I knew you was going through me like this, I would have never stepped to you from the video.
Later that morning, she hit me up apologizing about homie calling me and said their relationship was complicated. I cut her off before she could go further. Told her she should have explained that from the beginning and gave me the option to be involved or not. That was the last time we talked. I never saw her or that moist yet fluffy pound cake again. I did see her husband though, kinda. A few weeks later, I was featuring at a black art gallery in West Oak Lane. When I got off stage, my homie Tracy asked if I knew some guy who was just standing there. She said some guy walked in and asked if she knew who Vision was, and when she pointed to me, it seemed like he left once he saw how big I was. Sucks to suck. Thank you so much for watching Trash the Piece Theater. Please like, comment, follow, and subscribe. Also, please consider donating to our Patreon to help the channel grow. Patreon patrons receive additional bonus episodes, so there's that too. This is all possible because of your support. Thank you.